In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day.
In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains all, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive, in the light of freedom's sky. We got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and free, with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions. For our dream, through thrive and strive. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie, with liberty. We'll keep fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery, with liberty.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Culturama. I hope you're having a wonderful evening, and thank you for all those who have decided to tune in. Where on this show, we are trying to reclaim the zeitgeist of traditional Americana back into the United States, and thank you for joining. And as you guys can see, I did make a few cosmetic changes to the show, and I just wanted to see how that's turning out here. I added a little, there we go. Yeah, I can see that the text box is a little bigger, so let me fix that here let me just fix that here very briefly. Hold on a second. But yeah, I made a few cosmetic changes, and I'm trying to make the show look a little bit more snazzy here. But wonderful. I did change the text box. Anyway, we have a lot to cover today in the news, and I already see some people writing in the chat saying congrats for the viral tweet that I've done about college, and I will be covering that and more having to do with job displacement in America. And although it's kind of funny and cool and interesting that my tweet went viral, it is important to discuss why it resonated with so many people. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, the tweet was simple. I asked people, why was my generation, and perhaps even the previous generation, told to go to college? Seeing how college doesn't help in the creation of the American dream anymore, why have we been enslaved to the debts that we have today when it doesn't really do anything for us? And I think it resonated with a lot of people, considering the state of the economy and the job market, and how a lot of people are struggling right now, and I did want to touch on that on this show. So I will be diving into that, and as you could tell by the title of the stream and the title of this episode, that will be the main premise of the episode today. But we also have a lot more news to cover, one of which includes President Biden's farewell address. In just a few days, Donald Trump will make history once again by being sworn in a second term as president, and it's going to be very exciting. I know a lot of people that are going to DC to witness the inauguration. I hope they stay safe, but this is marking a new period in American history that I think is going to make a lot of serious changes. I know a lot of people have been doubting the legitimacy of the Trump campaign and what it was, or the previous administration, and the promises that Trump has made. But with the ceasefire that is being agreed upon between Israel and Hamas, I already see that there are agreements towards peace being made even before Trump has been sworn in. So I think we're going to see a lot of changes, not just in the nation, but also internationally. So we'll be talking about that. We will also be talking about Biden's farewell address. I'll be watching a little bit of that. I actually haven't had a chance to watch it, so I want to watch parts of it live with you guys today, raw and uncut. So I'll be doing that as well. And yeah, we have a lot of news to cover in there. I see that the chat is going off, so let me interact with a few of you guys here today and see what you guys have to say. I already see that people have pretty strong opinions about the topic here. Quest Fanning, thank you so much. He said, speaking of Twitter, congrats on the viral tweet, Daniela. It did get 22,000 likes, I think, at this last I checked, and it's still counting. But thank you so much, Quest Fanning. I really do appreciate that. It had over 1 million impressions. And, you know, a viral tweet is a viral tweet. I think it's cool that it went viral, but I think that it's very important to consider why it went viral. And that's what I want to talk about on the show today. Okay, let's see here. We have Pork Chop 159. Thank you for joining today in the stream. Pork Chop, Grizz Cheese, always good to see you. Some would argue that the system is doing exactly what it should, or could argue more. Okay, very true. Row House, thank you so much for joining. He writes, Daniela got Matt Walsh and other cases about, Daniela got on Matt Walsh and other cases about just work fast food. It's easy when they actually ask for references now for crappy retail jobs. Very true, Row House. I've seen people talk about the customer service industry, and I will say this. I have a lot of experience in the customer service industry as well as in the politics industry and the policy industry as well. But it's very interesting because in the past, customer service didn't require a lot of references or really multiple rounds of interviews in the interview process. And we have reached a point now, at least in the United States, where even to get a customer service job, you need multiple references. If you don't believe me, you can look for it yourself. And not every position has it, but they're starting to get into that pattern of behavior. And it's really unfortunate and a little demoralizing that that has to be the case now. You would think, why that has to be the case if it's just a basic customer service job? But again, I'll be covering that as we proceed further in this show today. Steelbringer, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Mr. Pig is here as well. Matt Lindsay 91, nice shirt. I love your style. Thank you so much, Matt. I really do appreciate that. Okay, let's see here. Yes, Row House. My tweet did get 22,000 likes. We have Barney Styles as well. Hello, Barney Styles. So I see a lot of and Mr. Liberdsy. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Mr. I always struggle. However, I'm always really thankful to see you in the YouTube chat. So thank you for joining us today. Okay, anyway, I will proceed with the show, and I see that we have a good showing today already. Some famous people replied to you too. Yes, Row House, I saw that, and we'll be covering that as we go further. Anyway, like I had mentioned, let's first talk about the upcoming administration. I know that Biden had his farewell address the other day, so I did want to touch on that. Again, like I said, I didn't exactly watch it. I was, busy with other things. Having that trad lifestyle, as people think I so often I have. So, but I was a little busy. But I do have it set up already, and I did want to watch a portion of it as we go on into this. Maybe I'll comment on it and see what it was all about. I heard a lot of people actually didn't watch it, and I can imagine why. He's not exactly the most interesting president that we've had in quite a while. But I also did want to touch on the issue of Biden taking credit for Trump's ceasefire deal. As some of you may have heard, there is a ceasefire agreement happening between Hamas and Israel. And although I have yet to find news that says that the deal was already fulfilled or agreements have been done on both sides, it is in development right now, and it is happening. And it's very interesting that it is happening just a few days before Trump will be sworn in as president. And I think that's very telling of the upcoming and the powers of the upcoming administration. And still, we see Biden trying to take, he's being a little sneaky here, but he's trying to take some credit for it. And it's quite interesting why he's taking credit for it now, considering that he has been in office for quite some time now, since the initial conflict occurred a little over a year ago, and the ceasefire agreements are just happening now as he's leaving office. So even Biden insiders have discussed that him taking credit is a little fishy. So let's touch on that as well. And also, I don't know if you guys have seen Trump's new headshot. And no, I'm not talking about the potential headshot that would have occurred in July. I'm talking about the one that has just been revealed yesterday. I wanted to show you guys that as well. So let me actually pull that up on screen. All right, here we go. So this is the official portrait of number 47. Look at that. And when I first saw this, I will admit, my jaw dropped. Okay, because I don't know if you guys remember the previous headshot, but this is how it looks like. Okay, this is a previous one. And, you can see that he came in with high spirits, high hopes, first time in D.C. at such a level, and at such a position of power. And this is what happens years later after the fact of him serving and going through everything that he has gone through. And obviously I won't go through all of that, especially with the election integrity situation as well, and the criminal charges that have been posed against him. Trump has been through a lot, and it's understandable why he has aged. I see Dean Withers here commenting, saying, dude has aged. He's obviously too old to serve. He probably has dementia as well. Sure, Dean. Yes, we understand for sure. Trump is certainly at the same cognitive level as your guy, Biden. But I wouldn't say, obviously everyone ages. Did everyone notice how much Obama aged just during one term? Understandable. Being a president is a difficult job. But I think it's more than just aging here. I think he is coming in with a multiplied force that we will never see before in any president of all presidential history. I think what Trump has seen and what he has experienced will speak volumes as he takes the current administration and comes into his current role. I don't know how many tricks he has up his sleeve. You know, he had mentioned a lot of his plans with this upcoming administration, but I do think that some serious changes will be done in the country. The dude's seen a lot. You know, it's like those memes where they say freshman year of college after graduating. You know, you go through a lot in a number of years, and there's this, you know, idea that everyone has certain lessons they have to learn in life throughout the development of their career and the development of their personality as they go through their lives. And so we have multiple lessons to learn in life. And some may have the impression that once you reach a certain age, you've learned everything that it is you have to learn. You have a certain amount of a level of wisdom that you don't really have to apply for the rest of your life. But it seems though that is not the case, especially when you're really up against the world, not just the nation, but you are up against the world. And Trump himself, you can see in the comparison of these two pictures that he has learned a lot about himself and he has learned a lot about in life. And I think that a lot of the lessons that he has learned in the last few years since his initial run in 2015, 2016, he is going to impart a lot of that knowledge in the upcoming administration. And, you know, I'm excited for that. And I really do think a lot of leftists and progressives are not excited about it. In fact, I think they're very afraid, and afraid they should be, considering everything they have put Americans through in the last several years, especially in the last administration. I think ever since COVID, Americans are sick and tired, and we've seen this with the election, Americans are sick and tired with the utmost corruption of big government. And not just the corruption, but also the lengths that government is willing to go to control us and to control our lives and our livelihoods, up to the point of controlling who we can contact within our own immediate families. If they happen to be away from us or in the hospital or under, medical care, we can't even access them. And I think that got under a lot of people's skin. So this is primarily the reason why I believe Trump did win. But there's, of course, always other reasons. So let me pull up the next, I'm going to be pulling up the next video with Biden as well. It's essentially his mugshot. Yes, Quest Fanning. It is essentially his mugshot, and obviously since I think what happened is that Trump saw how popular the mugshot was, and, you know, Trump is a guy that I really do believe pays attention to what works on social media, maybe even pays attention to memes. Obviously, as we've come to find out, Barron does give him some information about what works and what doesn't work as far as social media is concerned and his social credit score. And it seems to be the case that perhaps since his headshot has done so well and has invoked some sort of feeling among the American people, that perhaps he's trying to tap into that same energy. So obviously there's a strategy. There's a strategy behind everything that Trump does. I mean, he is a masterclass actor. He really is. He is a negotiator. He's a salesperson. He's a performer to a large degree, which you have to be if you work in politics, which at this point he is. He's a professional politician, but not in the same way that I think we had the same concept of what professional politicians were in history. He is carving out a new identity for what life in politics and in government looks like. And I think that a lot of future presidential candidates and future office holders are tapping into that energy and will be tapping into the energy because, like I said, the system isn't working out for Americans. Major changes are going to be done. And a lot of that does relate to the spirit of populism, which has to do with what the people like. And the people like the mugshot. If the mugshot worked, do it again, right? Even for a headshot. He has many skills. Indeed, Steelbringer, he does. I will be right back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the next video, and the video that I'm going to be watching is President Biden's soon to be former President Biden's farewell address. And it's a bit of a lengthy video. It's like 20 minutes long, but, and I haven't reacted to it. I mean, I haven't watched it. And so I haven't I will be going in cold, just cold with you guys. So, you know, I will see what my initial feelings and thoughts are on it and present them to you right here. And I think you guys are going to want to stick around and watch that. And as we proceed further with the show, we're going to be touching on a lot of topics: job displacement, what's happening in California, as well as many other things. So just stay tuned, and I will be, hold on a second, I will be right back.
Well, here comes Danny Yellow like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds: old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah, who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have "Glad You Came Out" and "I'm so happy that you're queer" in the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Coffee's optional, but waking up is mandatory. Remember, at Wake Up America, we'll keep you sharp, we'll keep you laughing, most of all, we'll keep you free. I'll see you in the morning.
Alrighty, welcome back to Culturama. For all the viewers that have already tuned in and have just now tuned in, this is Culturama, the show where we do try to reclaim the zeitgeist of traditional Americana back into the United States. We are trying to capture the conversation, and so that is the goal of this show. Thank you for everyone that is tuning in and is commenting. I see that the comment section is popping right now, and I did want to also say that because the comment section is so active, and you for sure wanted me to see your comment or interact with it or answer any of your questions, given that it is appropriate, be sure to donate a Rumble rant, and that way I will for sure see your comment and interact with it and answer your questions. Rumble is also the best place to interact with me. I do see comments occasionally from YouTube and Twitch, but if you for sure want for me to interact with you directly, Rumble is the best place to do that. So I highly encourage you to get a Rumble account and to do that as soon as you can, so you can be a part of the zeitgeist here in Culturama. Also, if you are watching this on X and you still want to support the stream, it goes just a long way just to like and share the stream as well. You can just retweet it. It really helps. So anyway, I did say that I will react live to the Biden farewell address. So I was going to do that right now. So let me pull that up for you guys right now. Hang on a second. There we go. Okay. Okay. All right, so this is the Biden address screen. President Biden delivers his farewell address to the nation. Let's give it a listen. I have not watched this, like I said, so I'm just going to go into it, raw, uncut. Let's take a listen. I've heard some people already say that they've tuned out initially as soon as he started talking. We'll see if this will be a snooze fest or not for me.
This plan was developed and negotiated by my team.
And guys, let me know if you can
hear this. And will be
this.
largely implemented.
Let me know if you can hear this properly in the comments. I'm just trying to make sure that the audio levels are well and good. So just let me know.
By the incoming administration. That's why I told my team to keep the incoming administration fully informed. Because that's how it should be, working together as Americans. This will be my final address to you from the American people from the Oval Office, from this desk as president. And I've been thinking a lot about who we are, and maybe more importantly, who we should be. Long ago in New York Harbor, an iron worker installed beam after beam, day after day. He was joined by steel workers, stonemasons, engineers.
3 huge reasons why you should definitely avoid using this on your hair.
Sorry, guys.
In just 2 weeks, it made my hair grow.
They built not just a single structure, but a beacon of freedom. The very idea of America was so big, we felt the entire world needed to see. The Statue of Liberty, a gift from France after our Civil War. Like the very idea of America, it was built not by one person, but by many people, from every background and from around the world. Like America, the Statue of Liberty is not standing still. Her foot literally steps forward atop a broken chain of human bondage.
Interesting.
She's on the march, and she literally moves. She was built to sway back and forth to withstand the fury of stormy weather, to stand the test of time because storms are always coming. She sways a few inches, but she never falls into the current below. An engineering marvel.
An engineering
the
marvel,
Statue of Liberty is also an enduring symbol of the
Yeah, I can already see why people have said this is a snooze fest, and they just checked out the first minute here. It's not exactly the most riveting content, but this is his last message, so let's give him a fair chance here. We can't be too mean to the old man, okay? We have to have some decorum when we're interacting with the elderly.
Soul shaped by forces that bring us together and by forces that pull us apart. And yet through good times and tough times, we've withstood it all. A nation of pioneers and explorers, of dreamers and doers,
Indeed.
of ancestors native to this land, of ancestors who came by force. A nation of immigrants who came to build a better life.
True.
A nation holding the torch of the most powerful idea ever in the history of the world. that all of us are created equal, that all of us deserve to be treated with dignity, justice, and fairness, that democracy must defend and be defined.
The democracy
be
point.
Imposed.
That's the talking point that the Democrats have had for quite a while now, ever since 2020. That's just, they've taken it and they ran with it, and they just made that their major point. I would say that's like their number one talking point that they all rely on just to stay relevant at this point. For the last, look at that, by the way, look at that pause screen. But in their last election, it was abortion. That was the only talking point they really had that they could even potentially leverage against Trump. And apparently that has failed. Actually, turns out people care more about jobs and the economy and surviving and even immigration more than they do about the abortion issue. But, you know, democracy and protecting the integrity of democracy in the nation is another one. And it's just really annoying to keep hearing that. Anyway, let's continue.
Moved in every way possible. Our rights, our freedoms, our dreams. But we know the idea of America, our institution, our people, our values that uphold it are constantly being tested. Ongoing debates about power and the exercise of power. But whether we lead by the example of our power or the power of our example. Whether we show the courage.
Exactly. And I saw someone in the comments say that, and yet they are actually anti-democracy. And that's what the Democrats are right now, because they will do anything in their power to put in the people in major positions of, major decision-making power positions where they will go out of their way to make it essentially impossible to survive here in the United States and to actually live a comfortable life. And yes, especially when it came to the lockdowns and the COVID era, the era of the lockdowns, they've done everything in their power to not really allow us to have any decision-making power, not just in like government or electing our officials. It's not just that, but it's also within our lives, in our immediate lives, we couldn't really do anything. So, but yes, it's all about protecting democracy.
Courage to stand up to the abuse of power, or we yield to it. After 50 years at the center of all of this, I know that believing in the idea of America means respecting the institutions that govern a free society, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, a free and independent press, institutions that are rooted.
Respecting the institutions that have largely failed us and continues to fail us.
They just might not reflect the timeless words, but they echo the words of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Rooted in the timeless words of the Constitution, we the people. Our system of separation of powers, checks and balances. It may not be perfect, but it's maintained our democracy for nearly 250 years. Longer than any other nation in history.
We don't even live in
that's ever tried such a bold experiment.
I mean, I keep
in the past 4 years,
but
our democracy is held strong.
Anyway, let's fast forward here a little bit because I feel like he's gonna pine on democracy for quite a bit here. Let's go more in the middle.
Hey guys, did you know some drivers are ditching their car insurance and they're doing
really
this
ever
instead?
Since they didn't allow ad blocker on their site.
They didn't punish the wealthy. Just made the wealthy play by the rules everybody else had to. Workers want rights to earn their fair share.
Hey guys, did you know some drivers are ditching their car insurance and they're doing this?
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
You know, they were dealt into the deal. And it helped put us on a path to building the largest middle class, the most prosperous century any nation in the world has ever seen.
Interesting.
And we've got to do that again. In the last 4 years, that is exactly what we've done.
Have we?
People should be able to make as much as they can, but play by the same rules. Pay their fair share of taxes. So much is at stake. Right now, the existential threat of climate change has never been clearer. Just look across the country, from California to North Carolina.
Yes. Indeed, climate change, a very big deal, of course, to the point where he is forced to mention Southern California and how it's completely burning down, while people from his party are going out of their way to spend their money instead of actual proper response teams, you know, and you could even claim, you could even make the argument that they could be putting their money towards a proper response towards these climate issues that we're having right now, particularly in parts of the United States like Southern California, where natural disasters do occur, like wildfires. But instead, it looks like Gavin Newsom and the Democrats of that state would rather Trump-proof their state and put over $50 million into Trump-proofing their state and to prevent the prospect of Trump conducting mass deportations within the United States. And so they're trying to protect their state from that. I've talked about that in the last stream. And so, you know, he may wax philosophical about the dangers and the existential threats of climate change, but even people within his own party that tout these opinions don't seem to take it that seriously, considering that they're putting their money into strictly ideological positions and ideological programs that aren't even being put towards protecting the American people from these potential natural disasters and these natural changes that are occurring. But regardless, you know, existential threats, always difficult to contend with, of course.
That's why I signed the most significant climate and clean energy law ever in the history of the world, and the rest of the world is trying to model it now. It's working, creating jobs and industries of the future. Now, we've proven we don't have to choose between protecting the environment and growing the economy. We're doing both. The powerful forces want to wield their unchecked influence to eliminate the steps we've taken to tackle the climate crisis, to serve their own interest for power and profit. We must not be bullied into sacrificing the future.
Okay, let's skip further a little bit more.
Nothing offers more profound possibilities and risks for our economy and our security, our society, for humanity. Artificial intelligence even has the potential to help us answer my call to end cancer as we know it. But unless safeguards are in place, AI could spawn new threats to our rights, our way of life, to our privacy, how we work and how we protect our nation.
Also, Grizz Cheese, thank you for the, I do see the special chats here, like from Entropy Nomad. Hello, Entropy Nomad. Hello, fellow Yahtzees. Grizz Cheese, I do see your comment. If I use the DuckDuckGo browser, you can watch a YouTube video using the DuckDuckGo player, which filters the ads. That's very good to know. I will probably do that next stream. Thank you.
We must make sure AI is safe and trustworthy.
Safe and
good for
trustworthy.
all
Okay,
humankind.
well, anyway, I'm going to skip forward to the end. Obviously, he's just talking about what he sees are large W's in his administration. But let me skip forward to the final farewell here. I'm going to go, like, let's say, I don't know, a couple minutes before. Keep it fair. Yeah, we can start here. See what his, like, final comments are on this issue.
The wait is finally over.
Shen Yun? I heard it was really good.
Shen Yun returns to the
people. To the members of my administration, as well as public service and first responders across the country and around the world, thank you for stepping up to serve. To our service members and your families, it's been the highest honor of my life to lead you as Commander-in-Chief. And of course to Kamala and our incredible partner,
Of course, to Kamala, yes, very
historic
incredible.
Vice President.
Historic. She was historic indeed. I don't think for the right for the reasons he's trying to cite here, or for the right reasons, but it truly was historic this last election cycle and her participation in it. Very entertaining.
We become like family, and to me, family's everything. My deepest appreciation to our amazing First Lady who's with me in the Oval today.
Forced him to run again.
For our entire family. You're the
Here's a video of a woman using the Wi-Fi detector to discover the hidden camera in what appears to be her Airbnb. And
nothing I can say about that. That's just the way.
Of my love.
That's the way it is.
My eternal thanks to you, the American people. After 50 years of public service, I give you my word. I still believe in the idea for which this nation stands. nation where the strength of our institutions, the character of our people
institutions
matter,
keep believing the plan,
must
everyone.
endure.
Clearly it's working.
Now it's your turn to stand guard. May you all be the keeper of the flame. May you keep the faith. I love America. You love it too. God bless you all. And may God protect our troops. Thank you for this great honor.
Well, that's... By the way, his approval rating was 37%. I just wanted to put that out there. He made progress in 1 of 18 areas, by the way. I just wanted to drop that out there just for the people that thought the farewell address was great. You know, clearly very entertaining speech he gave there. But I also wanted to bring out the reality of the situation and the majority of Americans were actually not happy with this term. Surprise, surprise. The poll conducted in January 10th through January 11th found that Biden had a 37% job approval rating, 52% disapproval rating as he nears his exit. So clearly the legacies of the Biden administration just did not hit as strongly with the rest of the United States. I also heard, and I've seen people post how they didn't really care enough to watch the farewell address. You know, and I can certainly see why. It wasn't really all that hard-hitting. The first 2 seconds were a bit mild, bit of a mid-performance, but, you know, the guy is fairly decrepit, so I can't hold that against him too much. But yeah, the American people are not happy about this previous administration, and that speaks to why Biden didn't win. Also, I don't know if you guys have heard, but a Gaza ceasefire is in the works right now. And again, this is at the next few coming days when Trump is going to get inaugurated in, and it seems like the devastating war that has been affecting the Gaza Strip may come to an end. Final decisions still have to be made, but there are developments occurring here and there are conversations being had. And it is a very destructive conflict that we have seen unfold for now over a year at this point, and quite a dangerous area as well internationally. And like I had said, very interesting timing why this is happening just days before Trump will be sworn into office. And regardless of that fact, it seems as though Biden is trying to take credit of this. Let's take a listen at this. Let's listen to this video right here. It's pretty brief, but I think it gives a good summary of what the picture is. Let's take a listen.
Credit for the ceasefire deal. Look at this.
How much credit do you give to the Trump team for this deal? Trump is already taking credit first.
Well, you know, this is the exact framework of the deal I proposed back in May. Exact. And we got the world to endorse it. Secondly, it's America's support for Israel that helped them badly weaken Hamas and its backers and create the conditions for this deal. And thirdly, I knew this deal would have to be implemented by the next team. So I told my team to coordinate closely with the incoming team to make sure we're all speaking with the same voice, because that's what American presidents do. Thank you.
Right now, under the terms of the deal, Israel and Hamas have committed to halting attacks, with Hamas agreeing to release a number of hostages in exchange for certain concessions from Israel. It's believed there are 63 hostages still alive, but nobody actually knows.
Very interesting. And it seems to be quite an offensive claim on Biden's part, to the point where even, well, sorry about the New York Post. I don't know if you guys have used his website, but there's a lot going on in New York Post. But it seems as though even Biden insiders are admitting that This is kind of deceptive on his part. Let me read this off to you. Even Biden insiders admit it took Trump to close a ceasefire and the Israel hostage deal. Multiple insiders and officials in both Israel and the U.S. told the Post that it was Trump's impending inauguration, surprise, surprise, combined with the efforts of his Middle East special envoy, Steve Witkoff, that finally solved the problem that have proved intractable for President Biden and his team. A source with Trump's transition team described the conversation last weekend between longtime Trump pal Witkoff and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as, quote, straightforward, no phony platitudes, and very direct, unquote. Another official told Reuters Witkoff was able to pressure Netanyahu into accepting the deal and moving quickly. It's that conversation that shifted everything into motion. The first stage is a 42-day ceasefire that begins Sunday, during which 33 Israeli hostages will be released in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. So, yeah, we are even looking at a situation where even people within the Biden admin are like, hey, look, the old man will say what he has to say. Grandpa's off his meds again, but that's not exactly what's happening here. Even we understand that. Forgive our grandfather. He's just not saying things that are entirely accurate. A senior Biden administration official Wednesday praised Trump for setting a sell-by date for the hostage release, saying he forced negotiators' hands on both sides. In any negotiation, he said, any breakthrough diplomacy, sometimes you need a deadline. Sometimes that's an artificial deadline you try to create, the official said. Man, super tough to deal with the fact that even a senior administration official in your own admin are coming out and saying that your opposition was doing a decent job at his job. So that's yikes. I don't know how I'd feel about that if I was Biden. I don't know if he has the potential to feel anything right now, but God bless him for making it through the administration. Honestly, I didn't think he would make it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I mean, he was really struggling there for a hot minute. There was times where, he was even closely resembling Jimmy Carter there for a second. So I got to give him props. Really good to see that Biden at least made it through. God bless him. I don't know how many milligrams of Adderall it took to push him through, but he made it. And I actually want to celebrate the fact that he made it through office. So good on him. Thank you for your service and withstanding everything that happened with the failures of your administration. You still made it through. You did the bare minimum, so thank you. And also, with a partner like Kamala, I can imagine that it was not very easy. Alrighty. Well, I can't wait for the next 4 years, you guys. Obviously, there's going to be some, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Some roadblocks in the way. This upcoming administration is not going to be perfect. And obviously the right wing and the conservative movement is going to have a lot of schisms, I can already tell. But you know what? It's going to be better than the alternative, and I'm really looking forward to it. No Rumble rants yet, you guys. Let's bring in those Rumble rants. If we get $50 in donations, also I will announce here on the stream that if we get $50, at least there will be a Leo, Unleash the Beast Leo segment. That's always a carrot I like to dangle in front of you guys, just in case, Leo's an old man, but I will wheel him out if the audience wants it. If the audience wants it, I will bring Leo out. But I have to see proof that you guys really want to see Leo. Otherwise, we're still gonna be talking about the news. Hold on a second. I want to check in with the chat here. Entropy Nomad was okay. Awesome. Hold on a second. Was gifted membership by Entropy Nomad. Thank you guys for gifting the memberships. I really do appreciate that. Hold on a second. Do I have a good sound effect for that? I don't know, but I will do the applause. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, Entropy Nomad, for gifting everyone else a membership. That's very kind of you. Wonderful. Nice entrepreneur, Matt, says Quest Fanning. Great job. $10 from Steelbringer.
Monster kill.
Steelbringer, if we get $40 more in donations, I will unleash the beast.
Monster kill.
Thank you so much for your donation. Okay, I will be right back, you guys. I'm going to be talking about this next subject, which was kind of like the main advertisement of this episode, and that is job displacement in America. There's a lot to cover here, and I'm going to try to pull up all the stats and information that I can, including my viral tweet. But I'm going to see, give me just a couple minutes here. I will pull those stories up here for you and try to give you additional context of what's really going on. Because, I understand this was mostly a Twitter discourse thing, and not everyone's always on Twitter, so I will try to explain that situation to you guys. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty strong. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day.
In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive, in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
In our little town, so serene, where the grass is green, the air so clean. We gather round the table every night, joyful days, oh once I end, with values passed, with generations past, living life with love that surely lasts. As the city lights look bright, we hold to our roots tight, in our hearts the same old fires, guided by the good old days. Sharing moments with friends always divine. Working hard for what we seek, respecting each word we speak, holding dear to our family ties underneath these nostalgic skies. As the city lights so bright got too tight, in our hearts the same old fire. Oh, and we sway with every change of time. But in our hearts, old love and soul, that may be in our Traditions keep our hearts going wild. What goes to find in our hearts simple ways? We got it by the good old days.
Well, here comes Danny Yellow like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah, who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have glad you came out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Coffee's optional, but waking up is mandatory. Remember, at Wake Up America, we'll keep you sharp, we'll keep you laughing, most of all, we'll keep you free. I'll see you in the morning.
Alrighty, we are back. Thank you everyone for watching Culturama and that have tuned in and are continually tuning in to this show. On this show, what we are trying to do is to reclaim the zeitgeist and to reclaim the conversation and discourse that is happening here in the United States and in online spaces. And I did also want to say thank you for all of those that have donated to the chat, that are using a gifted subscription as well. Thank you so much. And if you want to directly interact with me on this show, please do so through Rumble. That is the best place to do it. If not, you can still chat with me through other sources like YouTube and Twitch, or you can share this stream on Twitter by retweeting it. But if you wanted me to directly speak with you or answer your questions, especially when a chat's very active like today that I will not always be getting to, donate a Rumble rant. Not only will I interact with you, but it goes a long way in supporting the show. And another way that you can directly support the show and get tangible things out of it, like this wonderful Culturama pillow. I do want to add very good quality. Also, we have Culturama coffee, Culturama mugs, and other merchandise. I have my Culturama mug. I don't know if you guys were noticing, but I've been using this throughout the show. Drinking the Culturama coffee. And I know that if you're listening to this and you're new, you're like, there's what? There's Culturama coffee available? Yes, there is. You can look it up through the Culturama collection through the 4libertyshop.com. And let me show you that here really briefly. Let me pull that up for you guys. Just do I'm just a humble coffee merchant, and I think it would be only fair if I showed you guys this. If you go to this link right here, you go to the ap4libertyshop.com, pull out your phone if you have a phone nearby you, or go to your laptop, iPad, whatever it is. Just look up ap4libertyshop.com. Again, that is ap4libertyshop.com. And if you type in the search bar Culturama, what you will get is wonderful products that are directly related to the show that you are watching and enjoying right now. For instance, you have this pillow like I have right here, the Culturama pillow. If you wanted something more reminiscent of the host, and if you're confused on who that is me. We also have the Out of This World Daniela Space Girl pillow. I call it the Simp pillow, because it's kind of like a body pillow, but you can get this as well on the shop. And also, like I had said, in our newest feature of the shop is the Culturama Atomic Blonde Coffee. Very delicious, full-bodied brew. Will keep you awake hours at a time, if not all night if you have to. And you can make a one-time purchase of the coffee or a consecutive purchase throughout every 2 months, every 3 months, or every few weeks. And that way you will go towards supporting the show as well as enjoying a full-bodied roast. I just spilled some on me. Very classy. Anyway, so you can all support that and support the show that way. So I thought it would be only fair to show you guys this. And yeah, it'll go a long way in supporting the show. And also, if you guys wanted to see my dysgenic dog, if you guys like a little bit of a strange circus act, and the circuses have not been around for quite a while now in America, it's considered cruel. And although I do not train my dog in front of you, what I will do is wheel out an actual factual dysgenic freak of nature. And if you want to see that, and if this is your first time on this show and you have never seen a dysgenic freak of nature before, I can assure you, you can feast your eyes on one today if we get up to $50 in donations. And what is Unleash the Beast. It is a segment that I have on this show called Unleash the Beast. Well, I will bring my dog out, and every time I bring him out, he is wearing a different outfit, and I try to make a theme for each and every outfit. So if that is something you guys want to see by the end of this show, donate and we will get Leo out. If not, that's okay. You're just gonna have to wait till next stream to do that. Again, that is part of the segment called Unleash the Beast, where we unleash the monster, and that is Leo. So far, we only have $10. I'm going to be making a little meter for the stream. So I will be making a goal every stream, and if we reach that goal, I will unleash the beast. But I'm only going to be treating you guys if we reach that donation amount. Alrighty. Coffee is right-wing and based, Daniela writes. Row House. I fundamentally agree, Row House. I did sell a bag of coffee earlier, and it is delicious. AP for Liberty said that I sold a bag earlier, and that is all very true. Anyway, so all very fun features of the show. If you are new to the show, we have a lot of fun things going on, and I'll probably add new and fun segments as we go along with the show as well. So anyway, I did promise you guys on this next topic here, and that is job displacement in America. So I will be diving into that. But I just wanted to let you know of all these wonderful features that we have on this show. And I can already see people are getting excited. And like Row House already wrote in all caps Leo. Very exciting. Okay. Moving forward. I wanted to talk about this with you guys because this is an issue that is affecting Americans everywhere, particularly young Americans. Now, there are two sides to every story. We do have that side that says that the present generation, and I will agree that some aspects of this are true. The present generation is entitled. They want everything that comes to them easier. This is usually characterized as a boomer talking point, but we are seeing younger generations, even as far as millennials and Gen Xers, say that the Zoomers, they're just entitled. However, there's another aspect to this argument, saying that, yes, Zoomers may be entitled, however, the job market isn't doing so well right now. And it seems as though that the job market and young people that are being thrusted into the job market right now, especially leaving college, that it's difficult to find a job and it's difficult to make it through this economy. So I wanted to explore this issue right now because this was taking up the entire discourse of Twitter as far as my newsfeed was concerned, and I want to touch on it. So Jack Posobiec tweeted this, and this is what really thrusted us into this conversation. And that right now, what is happening is that the present generation and for the future generations, what we will come to witness and what we are witnessing is that the American youth feels betrayed. They feel betrayed by their educators. They feel betrayed by their leaders. They maybe feel betrayed by their personal role models that told them that, look, if you go to school, if you get that degree, if you apply your heart, your soul, your energy into getting into a field, putting in your money into breaking into a field, which most of us have done, and we are taught that we are all exceptions, that we all can do it, and that we all can reach the American dream, that eventually it will come to us. But we have reached a place right now in United States history, to be quite frank with you guys, where this is frankly impossible. Now, I don't want to be a doomer about this completely and say that there's nothing that can be done. Yes, there are things that can be done to rectify the situation, and this is why we are having this conversation, because it cannot be ignored any longer. The Zoomers, or the Generation Z, has inherited a real curse that has been thrusted upon them, one that they do not consent to, that previous generations frankly have benefited from. And although you could say that every generation has its struggles, and this is just the one that the Zoomer generation has inherited, and they just have to deal with it, that's maybe all very well and good, and in some cases understandable. But what's aggravating to me personally, and this is what really wanted me to talk about this and to write about it on my Twitter, is that I have been seeing right-wing figureheads that have been crusading the modern right-wing movement and the modern conservative movement, come out and speak against those that are airing their grievances about this when it relates to a very prescient issue. And one of those prescient issues is not just how college is frankly unnecessary for most people, and yes, it is a big market scheme that is used to take our money away and to indebt us for the rest of our lives. It's also the fact that we have to compete with the rest of the world, the rest of the developing world. And we are importing this, you could call it work culture, I suppose, into our country, and it's making the rest of the nation compete with that work culture. And it's making it, frankly, impossible for Americans that have already contributed a large sum of their money and time into obtaining a degree. It's making them impossible to live in this country. And when you talk about America First policies, nation first policies, helping a nation, a people, create their lives, start families, contribute to the American population, which is also, frankly, becoming impossible now with how expensive it is. People that preach that as figureheads of the conservative movement are also coming out, like Matt Walsh, for instance, or Christopher Rufo, Cernovich and others, are, you know, people that have touted all of these talking points are also coming out and saying that, well, you also shouldn't complain. If you can't find a job, it's not going to always be easy. We need to bootstrap ourselves into success. And, you know, you have people like that, but you have people on the other side, like, for instance, Jack Posobiec here, who are suggesting the alternative. Because, yes, bootstrapping is a big part of, it's just a part of life. It's a part of your adult life. You have to bootstrap yourself. You have to find some modicum of agency just to get through difficult periods of your life, difficult periods of American history or your nation's history. That's like completely understandable. It's not always going to be easy and perfect. It's never been easy for anyone, especially in like the first half of their life and the first stages of their adult life. No one said it was easy. And I really don't think that the present generation that is breaking into this job market is saying that they want things handed to them. But you also, what they're trying to say is that we have to contend with the fact that this is an unprecedented time in United States history where we are competing against the rest of the third world that are easily exploited, to be quite honest with you. And for us to drag our nation into that state, I just don't think, and these people like Jack Posobiec are saying, they just don't think is the solution for that. Especially as a first world country, and is what they say is a city on the hill for the rest of the world. So this is what Jack Posobiec has said. He said, I found nearly 3,500 H-1B openings for Walmart. Median salary is $139,000. This was just for 2024. So this was a Walmart discourse this was one of the tweets that launched this discourse about job displacement in America. It's been going on for the last few days now on Twitter. And he has found over 3,000 records of this. And this is just the example of this was an example of what I was saying about us having to compete for these jobs. And these are positions in Walmart where this money and these jobs can go to American workers. This is a salary that, you know, that could be going to American-born workers and benefiting American citizens, but instead it's going to H-1B recipients. So that's the state we're in right now. Here's another one. This is why I titled this stream PandaGate, because Panda Express was like a restaurant that everyone referenced in this conversation. But literally, even Panda Express is importing workers with H-1Bs. Why can't these positions not go to anyone else in the country? And you have to understand that we are at a situation, in a position right now where Americans, especially straight out of college or during college or even years after graduating college, are willing to take these jobs. This isn't a conversation about people saying we don't want to take these jobs at all. It's a conversation, first of all, it's twofold. Yes, we had to take these jobs even though we went to college. There is disenchantment with being told that we had to go to college. Absolutely. But also people are willing to take these jobs out of desperation, and that's fine. They're not ideal jobs. Can I be honest, working at Panda Express, especially after graduating from college with a bachelor's or even a master's, it's not something you can really be proud of or excited about. Let's not pretend these are exciting jobs. But it's not as though people are unwilling to take those jobs. There are plenty of Americans that are willing to take these jobs just to support themselves and to support families that they want to build, and they can't even get that because it's been given to foreign-born workers. So here's a list that we were looking at. Panda Express, base salary $90,000. These are H-1B recipients. Base salary over $100,000. Panda Express, $100,000. Panda Express. So like yeah, that's multiple. Obviously, New York, California. It says all the towns here. Ohio. And this is why I feel like the reason why this tweet went viral, and my tweet went viral on this. I tweeted that what was the point of telling my entire generation to go to college? And I was just a flippant. It was a flippant tweet I made. was meant to be all in good fun. It got over 1 million impressions and 21 on my phone. It said 22,000 likes. And, you know, I'm not like super proud of this tweet because it's just a basic question, but it did got me thinking, like, why is just, I post a lot of stuff on Twitter, okay? But it was this question that got people to really react to it, because it really did make you pause and think, especially throughout this entire discourse, like, why were we told to go to college if figureheads, role models, and leaders of our movement and just the country in general are telling us to go work at Panda Express that don't require these education elements? And again, it's not because these jobs are it's not something that I'm willing to do or anyone else is willing to do. It's not that. It's a fact like that. Why are we in debt, and why are we forced to go into debt if it turned out that at the same time where people are going into school and getting specialized, especially as American citizens, and going into debt, and weren't being told that they had to compete with the rest of the world while they're getting into debt in real time, our country is importing foreign-born workers for cheaper and exploiting those people when they could very well stay in their country and develop their own country and help the people of their country, especially if they're coming in with these specialized talents, which is what the H-1B visa program was, you know, allegedly initially made for. Because certainly we don't really need that, at least at this point, because frankly our job market is oversaturated with these people, and it's oversaturated with very specialized people with various degrees here in the country already. So while American citizens were getting into debt, sometimes an egregious amount of debt, before building a family, before buying a house, which by the way the housing market is just a mess right now, we also, you know, subversively are having to be put in a position where in the next couple of years, while we are trying to pay off that debt, on top of that, trying to build our lives, we already are faced with a magnitude of foreign-born workers that are easily exploited. It's in a position where it's almost impossible to dig yourself out of. And so this question, I think, really really brought the point home here, because and if you go in the comments, it's going to be all the same answer. It's to put you in debt. It's to put you in debt. It's to keep you a slave. It's a ball and chain method. It's a business. They're just trying to line their own pockets of people that had these academic institutions. It's all the same answer. Because our generation was also easily exploited, just as much as the foreign-born workers are coming in on this program, and that they are just using us and casting us aside. And once again, you know, you could just say, hey, that's the reality of the situation, and that's what the political nature is right now. And you have to contend with the fact that your leaders don't care about you, and I completely understand that. It's very corrupt, and we're always going to live in a corrupt situation. I understand that. But what's also very much bothering me is that we have right-wing figureheads that are telling us that that is okay. And that's the part that I don't like. If you want an example, let me show you an example. Let me pull up a tweet here to illustrate that point better for you. Hold on a second, where is it? There we go, this tweet right here. Matt Walsh, you know, I just tweeted this, and you'll know why in a second, but this is an example of what I mean. Like, we have people here like Matt Walsh, again, really respect Matt Walsh, and I do love the content that he has brought in the past. I just recently watched his film. I forgot the title. It's called like, Are You Racist or something like that. I don't remember. You guys know what I'm talking about. A very good film, by the way. Go check it out if you haven't already. But, so I do look up to Matt Walsh, but it's just disenchanting to see a tweet like this come out. It was also very disenchanting to see tweets by Christopher Rufo come out, in kind of the same vein. Christopher Rufo, another figurehead that I really much looked up to, and it really loved his participation in the conservative movement of America. And, you know, fighting against this DEI woke agenda, but he was also basically sparked this debate. But Matt Walsh tweeted this. It's kind of long. I probably won't read all of it, but here's a gist of it. He wrote, "This is my problem with this whole debate." This is the job displacement debate I just outlined for you. "Yes, I acknowledge that young people face serious challenges starting out in the workforce. Yes, I agree that we are importing foreigners to take American jobs, and that is hideously evil and unfair." Okay, great. I'm glad we're on the same page there. "Once we've agreed on that, what then? What is a young adult supposed to actually do? What is your plan? Complaining about it incessantly on Twitter is not a plan. Calling for policy solutions is fine, and I agree that we should work on those, but what about tomorrow?" I get that I say that he must get up in spite of it all, get the best job he possibly can, and work as hard as he can to achieve what he can. He has a difficult road, far from the most difficult compared to the vast majority of humans who have lived on this earth, but difficult. I acknowledge that. It's just talking circles, but he has still, but he still has to get up and walk. Yes, Matt Walsh, we all agree we have to get back up and walk. That is not the conversation. These people are running in circles around the actual issue here. The issue is partly the fact that we do live in a corrupt system and they're taking advantage of us, just like they are taking advantage of the foreign-born workers. And we can all acknowledge that's bad, and he had to acknowledge that in the first paragraph, absolutely. But why is it that people like Matt Walsh, Christopher Rufo, Cernovich is a big one. I should have pulled up Cernovich's tweets as well. But, all these people are saying, look, what can we do? I mean, you just kind of have to deal with that. You kind of have to deal with that fact, that this is just a reality situation. There's nothing we can do. You guys put yourselves in this position. It was stupid of you to think that you should have went to college. Interesting how it's people that are already well off and, already getting donor money that are saying this. Very interesting. I haven't seen Charlie Kirk say anything about this already, but I've seen already Matt Walsh, a representative from the Daily Wire, Chris Rufo, Cernovich, who else coming to mind? Big names that are pretty well off now that are speaking out against it. Very, very interesting. And like I said, there's a lot of people with podcasts out there that are pretty well off and make really good money doing their podcast and doing their show, getting major donations, who will say the things that Matt Walsh says or Chris Rufo says, but they're not really in on it. They don't really experience what's going on economically. I'm experiencing it, and I'm sure the people that are watching this stream are experiencing it as well, and I hope can relate to what I'm saying right now. Maybe some don't. Maybe, some people disagree with me, and that's fine. I love it when people disagree with me. That's fine. But I'm sure there are people that can resonate with me, and clearly people resonated with me with my last college tweet. So if you can resonate with me, let me tell you, I'm experiencing this as much as you are, and that's why I'm talking about it in the way that I am right now with you today here. Jack Posobiec, I do like Jack Posobiec a lot because he's been talking about this in a way that I think a lot of people can relate to. He said, I'm in this boat too, in the way I was raised. He writes, you were warned that if you don't get good grades, you'll wind up flipping burgers. You get good grades, you go to school, you get it done, still flipping burgers. I like this tweet. Gets a job flipping burgers replaced by a burger flipping robot. That's also a reality here. Also, I like this tweet from Chris Burnett. I just Googled it. The average salary for a restaurant manager in the USA is actually $55,000, not $100,000. Chris Rufo would never tell his own kids to aspire to be Panda Express managers, so why is he telling yours? So here's this tweet. This is one of the tweets that kind of sparked the debate. Christopher Rufo wrote, "It's actually good that Americans without a degree or a trade can live in a nondescript suburb and earn $100,000 a year driving for UPS or managing a restaurant." Yeah, that's fine, sure, whatever. But I haven't seen, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I haven't seen too many people saying they're not willing to do these jobs. They absolutely will not. They're just going to sit and cross their arms and say, I won't do those jobs. Actually, it's very difficult to get those jobs now because the job market is oversaturated. Not just with overly qualified individuals, which I am one of. I'm also overly qualified for some positions, but that frankly I and others need just to survive in this economy. But also look, we went to school and we got into debt to even just get these positions. And that's why people are concerned and have an issue with this, is that we've been lied to. And why is it so bad? And it's questionable that why is it so bad and wrong to bring attention to this topic? And so like, hey, look, the system's kind of unfair. Let's try to fix it. Here's one way to fix it. Maybe stop telling people to go to college when they don't have to go to college. 1, 2, don't require college degrees for literally everything. 3, and the biggest one, let's stop importing the rest of the world, and foreign workers, so we could actually fairly compete with our own nation, with the people of our own nation, and develop our nation here. And I do like what Chris Burnett said, and it encapsulated the point very well here against Rufo, saying that actually it's not 100K. It's very much dependent on where you live. Generally, it's 55K. Also, would Christopher Rufo tell his own kids to aspire to be a Panda Express manager? And that's just weird to me. Why is a conversation being flipped against Zoomers? Saying like, well, you're just not willing to do the job, you're lazy. No, it's not that they're lazy. It's that they're disappointed with the current state of the country because they've been told that they can be all these things that they went to school for, and it's impossible now to get those jobs. I think they're fair to be a little upset. Okay. And then there was this tweet that there was this tweet that I wanted to talk about. So this kind of this illustrates the opposing position here that I think really illustrates what's going on here. So bear with me. I'm going to read it out to you. I don't know this account, but this tweet went a little viral. If anyone wonders why I post the things I post, hold on, let me go to the original one. Here we go. Here's the original tweet. It's kind of long. He writes, if anyone wonders why I post the things I post, it's because of these guys. A 23-year-old man who feels trapped by circumstances needs to know that he could just make change and that the stakes are far lower than he thinks. He can ride a Greyhound up to ND, flirt with a gal at a gas station, find himself a job in the sugar beet harvest, live in a wall tent in Talk, Arkansas, read all day at a library in Coastal Maine, sleep in a ditch, dumpster dive yogurt and bread, find a job on a Gulf oil rig, or buy a $30,000 house in a random town. Okay, so this is what the opposition is saying is possible, and you could bootstrap yourself to excellence here. Is that you can, to reiterate, sleep in a ditch, that's an option, or dumpster dive for yogurt and bread. I don't know if this guy actually read this to himself out loud here, but dumpster diving for yogurt and bread, probably, I think at that point you're not bootstrapping yourself. You're kind of past that. You're homeless. You need help. Is all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, this is another point that I wanted to talk about here, and this is going to be more of a statistical element to this portion. Worse off now. So people are saying, Cernovich, Rufo, all these people, they're saying that, hey, look, maybe it's a little tough, but you know what? You can still get through it. It's still possible. Like Matt Walsh says, just bootstrap yourself and you could get yourself through excellence. Learn how to dumpster dive yogurt. Okay, it's not that hard. You can still do it. I know you're 20 and you're in a lot of college debt, and you just a few years now down the line, you're going to graduate with your degree in business, and but you can still vibe your way through life and work your way into excellence here. Just learn how to dumpster dive, bro. It's not that hard. Well, here's a little article I would like to read for you guys today. Worse off now, real wages have declined since November 2020. Okay. While the U.S. economy has come through inflation crisis relatively unscathed, with robust growth, low unemployment, and high stock prices, many American families have not. The main problem with inflation is the fact that it hits consumers right where it hurts, the wallet. In times of high inflation, when prices increase faster than normal wages, I want to highlight that for you guys. When prices increase faster than normal wages, real wages go down, meaning that workers see and feel the purchasing power of their income decline. During the current inflation crisis, this has been the case from April 21 to April 23, when average real hourly earnings have declined for 25 consecutive months, over a year-over-year basis. In May of 23, real wages began to rise again as normal wage growth outpaced inflation once again, as it normally should. By looking at the cumulative wage growth and price increase since November of 2020, we can at least try to answer the question of whether or not Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago. And the answer is not really. Between November of 2020 and September of 24, nominal wages increased 19.2% on aggregate. During the same time, consumer prices have surged by 20.6%. Though, meaning that prices hikes have erased any wage growth and left real wages 1.1% short of where they were off 4 years ago. So here is the stats here. They should have just titled this offensive statistics, but I had to get through this slew of the previous to get to this point. But here's a graph. Worse off now, real wages have declined since November of 2020. And there you can see the graph. So average hourly earnings, consumer price index, slightly increasing, but average real hourly earnings has been decreasing. So clearly it's not quite the comfortable situation for most Americans right now. This is from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Additionally, I did find this tweet interesting. It was a comment under one of my posts, but I did want to bring attention to it. I wrote about the customer service industry. I'll just read off my tweet for you guys. Just get a customer service job. Okay, sure, I will gladly do that as soon as they're actually hiring, and not just listing it to unlock H-1B cheap labor. You're often competing with over 500 applicants or several hundred applicants. Either they are overqualified just like you are in applying for that position, or you're competing with internationals coming in on the visa. Also, good luck making it through the DEI filter, which if you guys have come to experience, a lot of HR, a lot of heads of HR do implement quite frequently. And then this person commented and said, in my area, not even grocery stores are hiring. This is coming from a real person. Real experiences here. Not by big talking heads like Matt Walsh that haven't experienced this crisis for a number of years now because they have made it big and they're living their life quite well. But this is coming from real people that actually have to live through this. There is such a glut of immigrants taking jobs in restaurants that stores are flooded with applicants from teenagers. Youth unemployment is nearly 10% now. I don't even believe that with how much we fudge the numbers. So there's this chart that they have cited. A monthly youth unemployment rate in the United States from October of 22 to October of 24. It's seasonally adjusted, it says. The massive decline here in 23, but obviously not in the best state right now. Oh, and I didn't see this comment. They said that they also mentioned that they live in a rich, primarily red suburb. It's actually inescapable. So, you know, the issue of importing foreign-born workers, especially for talents that are either underutilized here in the country or isn't being, or we don't have much of an output of, and there's a greater demand for. I understand the point of the program of H-1B visas, and like I said, the initial point of it is well-intentioned, and it's a good program to have around, right? But we have reached an unsustainable point in the U.S. economy and the U.S. job market right now. I'm not saying that it was always bad or it should have never been implemented, but what I am saying is that we are at a point where it's simply becoming unsustainable. It's simply becoming unsustainable for the coming generations that are trying to break into the workforce, that have just come out of college. And once again, I want to reiterate, are being burdened by debt. And also, I want to reiterate, a lot of these people that are coming from these countries on these visa programs are getting their credentials from credential mills that aren't even fully legitimate. And I don't have the stories for that up right now, but you can just look into that. It's a pretty well-known phenomenon that has been quite extensively researched. So these people aren't even have the credentials themselves most of the time. And, you know, we do have a problem of overqualification here in the country, and we do suffer under credentialism quite a bit in this country, which, again, is a national problem that we have to deal with here at home, domestically. But it doesn't help if we're importing that issue of credentialism as well, okay? We're importing the issue of credentialism into our country on top of the fact that these are easily exploited demographics that our youth just is not ready to compete with. It's not because they're lazy. It's because that they don't even have the capacity to compete with, honestly, you could say professional grifters. A lot of these people that are on these programs are getting their credentials from credential mills. They're not even fully qualified. And in the next segment, I could find articles for that if you guys wanted that. But I have been going on quite a bit on this point, and I wanted to go on to my next stories here. So, but I did hope that resonated with a lot of you. We have a lot of viewers on Rumble. Thank you for everyone that have tuned in. We have $5 from Row House and $5 more from JJ. Thank you guys for donating. Hey, Row House. Let me look at yours first. Okay, let me read your Row House sent in $5. He said, "This tweet by Matt Walsh, Daniela, shows Con Inc.'s weaknesses on the issue. I'll take a look at that. Row House, thank you so much for donating." And then JJ donated $5 as well and said, "Aaron McIntyre tweets in your Twitter DMs," says JJ. Thank you, JJ. Row House, let me take a look at your tweet here that you sent me. Okay. Okay, Matt Walsh, Aaron McIntyre wrote, "If you're worried about Andrew Tate's influence on young men, telling them to climb the fast food ladder probably isn't the move." Yeah. And then Matt Walsh quote tweeted this and said, "What do you think a young man with no work experience should get up and do today? You're insulted by the suggestion that he should get a job in customer service like we did that age. So what should he do? I haven't seen you guys in any practical suggestions whatsoever." Yeah, this is basically this is what I retweeted with the customer service point. And if you want me to read that, Row House, I can do that for you right now. Let me go to my Twitter. Where was it? Yeah. So Row House, I did retweet this comment. And this is what I already read on stream here, but this was my response, is that I wrote, and again, I'm someone that has had experience in customer service and the process of employing people in customer service, so I know quite a bit about this. But people will gladly get customer service jobs as soon as they're actually hiring, and not just listing for data or to unlock cheap labor and to receive H-1B recipients. Oftentimes, to get these jobs, you are competing with hundreds of applicants already that are overqualified, just as you are. And then there are multiple DEI filters you have to go through. Good luck making it through the ideological checks, because let me tell you, that will happen, especially if the HR head that is interviewing you is a woman that wears glasses. That's just a stereotype, but that has been proven true a few times as well. But also on top of that, a lot of customer service positions, at least from what I've seen, are now requiring references. That's ridiculous. Why does it require references? It requires either references, or on top of references, you need a certain number of years of experience already in the position. A lot of these are entry-level jobs. They will advertise it as entry-level, and then you read it and it says, you know, at least a couple years of service in working customer service or sales-related jobs. That's just the way it always is now. It's nearly impossible to find an actual entry-level job. And there's a lot of people that are straight from college that are willing to do those jobs. So, but thank you for the donation and tweet, Row House, and JJ. JJ, I appreciate it as well. Thank you. We're still not at 50, you guys. So I don't know if we will have Leo come in, but anything's possible. I will be right back. I will bring up the next story. It will be a little bit more lighthearted, but you guys just stay tuned and I will pull those stories up for you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating in Reclaiming the Zeitgeist. And if you guys stick around till the end of the show, we do have another show, part of the For Liberty Network, called The Liberty Tonight Show. And it's a late night comedy show. And I will be dumping in the link for that in the chat afterwards. So stay tuned and I will do that for you guys.
Well, here comes Annie yelling like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah. Who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have Glad You Came Out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. The employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day. Coffee's optional, but waking up is mandatory. Remember, at Wake Up America, we'll keep you sharp, we'll keep you laughing, most of all, we'll keep you free. I'll see you in the morning.
Monster kill. Monster kill. Monster kill.
This is Unleash the Beast, everyone. I saw that Entropy Nomad said in the chat that we had over $30 in gifted subs, and I'm so sorry, Entropy. So I saw that, and it seems as though I was incorrect earlier, and that we in fact did reach the $50 limit for Unleash the Beast. So here he is.
Oh, my little chihuahua, you run so fast.
Is a Christian, at least for today, and he's adored in all things. And of course, he has pearls in the back, and he has a little bonnet here. So this is Unleash the Beast, everyone.
My tiny furry friend, you light up my day.
Leo is in the house. Unleash the Beast.
Let's dance and play.
Monster kill. Monster kill.
Leo doesn't have to worry about the economy or the job market or job displacement in America. The way that he pays for his rent is lots of cuddles, kisses, and snuggles. And of course, humiliating himself on stream like this. So this was the dysgenic creature that I was talking about earlier. This is Leo, my dog. And the reason why he is dressed like a Christian today with his Christian regalia right here, you can see the cross, is that, I don't know if you guys have noticed or found out about this story, but Jordan Peterson apparently has said that Jesus is God. And as a Christian myself, I think this is good news, and I do like Jordan Peterson, despite his many foibles, especially within the last few years. But I wanted to watch this with you guys. So let's just take a listen. We do have the last 10 minutes of the show before the Liberty Tonight show comes on, so I will watch this with you. Let's take a listen.
I'm going to ask you again because I want to be clear. Is what is the God you believe in?
I think that the claim that Christ is the embodiment of the prophet and the laws, I think that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
that's complicated. It's very, very complicated. But I think it's true.
So you believe that Jesus was
God?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask.
I think this is good news for someone like Jordan Peterson because it has taken us very long to get him just to say this. And he's finally said it. Jesus is God. That very good news. Now, I don't know if he means it in the same way that your traditional Christian would say it. I do not know. However, what I will say is this. It's still good news. He is still a step closer. And Leo, of course, is very happy about it as well. But I do wonder, because Jordan Peterson, he, all things considered, people have his opinions about him. I think he's a very bright guy. And he's fairly educated. Really big into the symbolism. If you read his books before, especially his more recent books. But does he mean Jesus as God, like in the way that I've heard other people say Jesus as God in this woo spirituality where he considers like everyone is sort of like their own God, or in the oneness of God question? Or does he mean in the traditional aspect of believing in Jesus Christ and that he died and rose again in 3 days, and if he believes in the resurrection story, because that's actually what's required to be a Christian, in my opinion. But I think a lot of Christians share that same sentiment, right? So I don't know what you guys think about that story. I thought it was very interesting. But do you guys think that Jordan Peterson is a Christian or not? Jordan Peterson is a Jungian. Yes, he is, JJ. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Monster kill.
You guys got him. You guys got Leo.
Monster kill.
Correction, Jesus is Lord, says JJ. Yes, God, Lord, Church Lady. JJ wrote Church Lady. I did not call Jesus Church Lady. I was reading off the comments live. Does Leo ever bark? Good question, JJ. Yes, he does. He howls as well. He doesn't ever do it on stream because, first of all, he's trying to be a polite little helper and he doesn't want to disturb anyone. But also, second of all, he hardly ever barks when he's well fed, and this is the time of the day where he's pretty well fed, and is pretty content and quiet and sleepy. And I like to keep him sleepy by the end of the day, so in case I do have to bring him on stream, you guys would be treated without having any issues. Looking good today, says Mr. Libertsi. Leo, Barney Styles is really happy to see Leo. Quest Fanning wrote 5 minutes ago, now they're just using filters on applicant data, and then after you get through, that you're susceptible to the HR lady's biases. Yes, Quest. It's very frustrating because I have had this experience personally, so I can speak from personal experience more than once, and I know a lot of people watching this, maybe even you, Quest, that like you go through the application process and you go through the first couple rounds of interviews and it goes great, regardless of who you're interviewed by, it goes great, and you get to the HR lady, which I like to call the ideological checkpoint, where they will just get a vibe from you, and if you're a white guy, good luck with that. That's impossible. I'm still a woman, I'm still a lady, so like I can maybe get away with it. But it's every time it's like there's some issue. There's some issue. They just don't like you. And the HRification of America is truly a cancer. It's killing us in many ways, not just this way, but in many other ways as well. Okay. This has been a really good... Mr. Pig said he winked at you. Does he? That is the chillest chihuahua I've ever seen, Barney Styles said. And then JJ said, have you thought about giving Leo Doggy CBD. JJ, I have before in the past for times when we travel, and you sometimes got to do that with dogs, especially smaller dogs that are very neurotic. So I have given him CBD, but honestly, he's not a dog that requires it as often. I do have another dog that is very neurotic as a Chihuahua, and he also gets that. He gets that more often, especially when we travel. So I have used those before. And Barney Styles, yes, he is a very chill Chihuahua. There is a school of thought out there that says that the newer breeds of Chihuahuas and the newer generations of Chihuahuas that are being bred are actually bred with certain characteristics where they are more even-tempered. And I have read that Chihuahua breeders do that now. They try to breed. They basically try to breed out like the very aggressive elements of Chihuahua temperament. And I wouldn't know exactly how that works. I just know that they like to breed chill Chihuahuas with other chill Chihuahuas. And I don't know if that's that's Leo here, since he is, one of the newer generations that have come out now. Well, granted, he's 8 years old, I think. But I've been reading this has been a feature of Chihuahua breeding for the last few years now. So Barney Styles writes, I hire pretty much everyone willing to show up. And you know what, Barney? God bless you for it. We need more employers like you. And Steelbringer writes, good doggo.
Oh, my little Chihuahua, you run so fast. Pregnant with your goofy little body, always having a blast when you dance on your paws.
Thank you everyone that have joined the drama. I really appreciate this. If you haven't already, consider buying or buying the Cold Drama coffee and mug collection. And it goes a long way in supporting the show. Your donations to bring Leo out today also goes a long way in supporting the show, so I really do appreciate that, guys, and thank you. A lot of what you donate does go back into the show and developing it, and I just want to make it better, and I just want us to continually be part of changing the zeitgeist, reclaiming the zeitgeist, and making the United States a better place, because Lord knows that we do need it. Let me check okay, I just got the link sent to me for the Liberty Tonight show, so I'm going to be dropping that off in the chat for you guys. Hang on a second, let me get that for you. Here we go. For the raid, okay. The raid function doesn't always work on my end, but we'll see. I'll just copy and paste the link in the chat. So I'm going to send a link for you guys in the chat. You go join this next show. Once again, this is the Liberty Tonight show, and they are part of the For Liberty Network that I'm a part of as fellow libertarians, fellow right-leaning libertarians. But for the rest of you, I want to thank you for joining the show tonight. Thank you, one and all. Thank you for your donations and your comments. This has been a fun show. I will probably stream again on Saturday, actually. I want to stream more. So if you guys are free Saturday night, watch my Twitter. I'll be posting the link for that as well, for the live stream for that show. Thank you, Quest Fanning, for the wonderful comment. Great show. And thank you for everyone for donating as well. I really appreciate you guys' support. It really means the world to me. And thank you for being a part of the fight in reclaiming the zeitgeist. And I will see you guys next week. Well, actually, Saturday. And then next week we will proceed with normal viewing. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
Like you're on a street, chasing your tail. What joy you bring me, my tiny furry friend.
Well, here comes Danny yelling like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.